shocking news, the only condition that will make Nnamdi Kanu to be released. The news details. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has granted a stay of execution on its judgment which discharged Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. A 3-person panel led by Haruna Senami came to the conclusion that the proposal that was presented by the federal government should be granted approval by the appellate court pending the outcome of an appeal that will be heard and decided by the Supreme Court. This decision was reached by an unanimous vote. Kanu has been held in captivity ever since he was brought back from Kenya on June 19, 2021. This took place. After that, the leader of IPOB was rearrested on a charge that included 15 additional offenses. On April 8, the court dropped 8 of the 15 counts that were part of the charge. The remaining 7 counts were reversed by the Court of Appeal on October 13, after they had previously been upheld. The decision regarding the appeal was handed down by a 3-person panel of the appellate court that was chaired by Anutu Zanki. The panel found that the respondent's rights has been violated by the federal government because of violations of international agreements and treaties as well as the Terrorism Act. It was further determined that the trial court lacked the jurisdiction to continue Kanu's trial because the appellant had been illegally and forcibly transferred to the government. The leader of the IPOB has not been released from custody by the federal authorities as of yet. Instead, it filed an appeal with the Supreme Court against the ruling of the appeals courts. In addition to this, it made a request to the appellate court to delay the execution of the ruling so that it may be reconsidered. The application was decided by the Court of Appeal, and it was determined that the government was correct in its request. However, in order to enable a rapid settlement of the issue, the appeal court demanded that the Supreme Court receive the appeal record and its decision from the federal government within 7 days. This was done in order to allow a prompt resolution of the matter. Since then, Kanu has contested his ongoing incarceration by filing a new complaint with a case number FHC APJ CS 1945-2022 on October 21. The lawsuit challenges his continued detention. In addition, he is asking for 100 billion naira in compensation for the violation of the most fundamental aspect of his human rights. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, it has been released that the only condition that will make Mazi Nnamdi Kanu be released from detention. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who has been extradited and renditioned from Kenya to Nigeria on June 19, 2021, and has been in the detention of the Department of State Services, DSS headquarters in Abuja. A 3-person panel was made for him, and the proposal that was presented by the federal government should be granted approval by the appeal court, pending the outcome of an appeal that will be heard and decided by the Supreme Court. Apart from that, the leader, who was rearrested and was charged for 15 charges, treasonable felony and other things, he said that he do not know about everything that has been going on, but those people are trying to make him be in the custody for what he did not know about. Kanu was facing terrorism and treasonable felony, which was charged before Binta Nyako, the judge of Federal High Court in Abuja, and it was granted bail on health grounds in April 2017. In September of the same year, soldiers reportedly invaded his hometown in Abia and allegedly killed some persons. During the invasion, Kanu escaped and subsequently fled the country. Inyako later issued a warrant of arrest for him because of his absence at trial. Aloy Ejimako, one of Kanu's lawyers, said his client escaped during the raid as the rule of self-preservation. In June 2021, the federal government announced Kanu's arrest and extradition from Kenya to Nigeria. After his repatriation to Nigeria, the IPOB leader was rearrayed before Nyako on a 15-count charge bordering on terrorism and treasonable felony. But in April 2021, 8 of the charges were struck out by the trial judge. Afterwards, Kanu, through his lawyers, approached the Court of Appeal and asked for his dismissal of the outstanding 7 counts for being devoid of merits. In October 2022, a 3-member panel of the Court of Appeal in Abuja struck out the remaining charges against the IPOB leader. The appeal court held that Kanu's extradition from Kenya to Nigeria to stand trial was illegal. The federal government later filed a suit to stay the execution in the appeal court, and it was granted. Although the appeal court quashed the terrorism charge against Kanu, he is yet to be released and he is still being held in the custody because of the stay of execution granted by the federal government by the appeal court. A stay of execution is a court order to temporarily suspend the execution of a judgment. Oludaramola, a senior advocate of Nigerian SAN, said Kanu was discharged by the courts and the charges against him were thrown out. Hence, it does not need anybody to stand surety for him. The essence of bail is that you will be available to defend your case. That is the whole purpose of bail. The issue of Nnamdi Kanu. What is the business between the federal government and Nnamdi Kanu that has not allowed the federal government that the federal government has not released Nnamdi Kanu ever since he has been detained since 2021? Kindly share your view in the comment section. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your day.